Selamat datang di Diripedia. Ini kita akan memahami konsep Rasan.
Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah.
Usually when you get a medical diagnosis, it is, pure engineering. You break your arm, the doctor points to a jagged white line on an x-ray and says, there it is.
Right, it's super binary, broken or not broken. It's actually very comforting.
Exactly. But step into the world of human consciousness and how we actually navigate modern life. And that x-ray machine just completely shatters. The landscape is, it's completely murky.
Yeah, it's not binary at all.
No, not at all. So today we are looking at a Diripedia video script on Konsiologi, which is basically the study of human consciousness as an operating system.
Right.
And our mission today is to decode how this ancient concept from Nusantara, the Indonesian cultural archipelago, might actually be the ultimate survival tool for our crazy data-flooded lives. And it all centers on this concept called Roso.
Yeah, and Roso goes way beyond just a fleeting mood or like a temporary emotion. In this framework, it's defined as a deep capacity to actually feel direction and harmony.
Okay, so how does that fit into the whole operating system idea?
Well, to understand why Roso is so essential, Konsiologi maps out human architecture into 3 systemic domains. First, you have R1, which is physicality. That is our biological body and our actions.
Right, the physical stuff.
Exactly. Then there's R2, cognitality. That is the mind processing information.
I kind of think of it like a computer. So R1 is the hardware, like the keyboard and monitor, and R2 is the CPU processing all the data.
That is a really great way to look at it, actually.
But then the source introduces R3, which they call Intrinsikalitas. And I kind of have to push back a little here. Isn't R3 just a fancy, maybe pseudoscientific term for a gut feeling? Like, we all get butterflies or a knot in our stomach when we make a bad choice, right?
I totally get why you'd say that, but a gut feeling is usually just a reaction or survival instinct. It is, a spike in cortisol or adrenaline because of some immediate perceived danger.
Oh, so it's more physiological and immediate.
Yeah, exactly. R3 operates as something called Rasan. It functions as a systemic internal compass. So it doesn't just react to threats, it continuously senses harmony or disharmony between your internal self and the outside world.
Okay, wait, so if we go back to the computer analogy, if R1 is the hardware and R2 is the CPU, what on earth is R3?
So R3 would be like the core alignment protocol, or the user's overarching intent.
Like the actual purpose of running the machine in the first place.
Right. The CPU can process millions of calculations per second, but without an alignment protocol dictating why those calculations actually matter, the computer just, it overheats running useless background tasks.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
Yeah, Rasan filters the data input through a lens of resonance. It asks, does this information actually align with the integrity of the whole system?
That overheating CPU thing maps so perfectly onto what the script calls the digital paradox. We live in this era of massive digital acceleration. Information is just everywhere.
But our actual life orientation, our sense of where we are actually going is fading.
Yeah, it's totally blurred. We kind of assumed more data would give us more clarity, but it really hasn't.
Not at all. The paradox is that the brain, our R2, is trying to compute this infinite stream of binary data. Ones and zeros, true or false. But human experience is not binary.
Right, it's incredibly messy.
Exactly. And when you feed a non-binary system an endless loop of binary inputs without a filtering mechanism to weigh what is actually meaningful, the processor just crashes.
Which is exactly why you should care about this. Think about the last time you sat holding a smartphone, right? You literally hold all the world's knowledge in your hand, yet you feel completely lost, anxious, or just paralyzed.
Paralyzed by indecision, yeah.
Totally paralyzed. Your R2 is just overloaded by that flood of data. And without an active R3 compass to figure out what actually matters for your specific systemic harmony, you just lose your direction.
You become entirely adrift. You are just processing for the sake of processing. So to survive this complexity, relying solely on thinking and doing, R2 and R1 leaves you super vulnerable to that overload.
Which is why Konsiologi argues that we need R1, R2, and R3 working simultaneously.
Yes, to create systemic coherence.
And this coherence, it acts as a sturdy bridge between ancient Nusantara wisdom and modern cognitive science. It gives us a way to find our way home through all the noise.
The source even suggests that Rasan is necessary for the very sustainability of our civilization. Because if we cannot filter the noise, we simply burn out.
We have to shift from endlessly accumulating data to actually integrating it harmoniously, Which leaves us with a pretty wild, lingering question to wrap up this deep dive.
Oh, what is that?
Well, our current digital world is designed entirely to stimulate our minds, R2, and our physical habits, R1. But what would a piece of everyday technology look like if it were specifically designed to interface with and amplify our Rasan, our R3?
Oh, wow, that is a great question.
Right. Imagine an X-ray machine, not for broken bones, but one that instantly reveals if your daily choices are aligned with your deepest internal compass. Until someone builds that, you'll just have to listen to your own.